Hello CIS30A. In this video, I will be talking about week 4 lab. And in this week lab, we will start with number 1, which asks you to write a Python program that asks for the user age, use exception for input validation. The user must be between 1 to 120 years old, and the program should prompt the user to re-enter the information if the information is invalid. So in this one, we're going to try to use try and exception for exception handling. So here's the program. I start out with the variable age, and for this variable, it will be accepting integer. So we need to parse it as integer, and then we will prompt the user to enter their age, and it will be recorded and stored in age. I have a function called getAge, and for the getAge, we can put down that while true, we are running a while loop. We're going to try, and here I'm using assert age. So we want the age to be between 120 and 1. So we wanted to use the logical AND here. So this assert here, what that allows us to do is to apply the condition for the user age between 1 and 100. Since it's a range and it needs to be within this range, we need to tie it with the logical AND. I commented out some section in that, yes, you can add the if-else statement, but since the program is required to have try and except, I'm going to use assert to apply the condition. Then we wanted to print out invalid input, try again from the try. So what this means is if they enter anything outside of this range, it's going to tell us invalid input, and then it's going to come back to this, and it's going to allow the user to re-enter and try. Then for the except, we would have two areas where we would want to catch the error or the exception. The first one is going to be the value error, and the second one is assertion error. So for the value error, we want to state that it's invalid input, and it's going to go again with the except. And we wanted to break out of that. For the second except, that will be an assertion error. And with the assertion error, it's simply going to print out assertion error occurs. So you can have as many exceptions as you like to be able to catch it. Now, if I comment this out, it's going to see there's an assertion error. So let me run this program so you can see. So it asked me to enter the age, and so let's put 34. And so it's gonna, since it's checked true for this, right, it's gonna come down to here, and it's gonna print out the age. And with the assertion error, as we have assert here, what it's gonna do is it's gonna print out my age and assertion occurs. So if I comment out this area, and I'm only leaving one exception, and I rerun this program, we're going to go ahead and put in 34 again. You notice here that it shows the age as we call for the method, and it prints out the age here. So it shows me the age, but it also tells me that there's an assertion error. So as I expected there would be an assertion error, I need to make sure that I have an exception handling process that's going to catch the assertion error. So in this program, what I did, again, to recap, is I have a variable that's going to store the user input as integer for their age. We have a method called getAge, and we have a while loop, and the while starts with while true. We're going to try. We're going to assert age is greater and equal to 100 and age is less than and equal to 1. So we wanted to check for our age range, and if it's outside of the range between 1 and 120, what we want to do is we wanted to say that it's invalid input. Then it's going to come back to the try, and it's going to take whatever the user re-entered, and it's going to check again. Now for the except, we have the except value error, print invalid input, try again. So in the case where if they enter a letter or something outside of the number, it's going to say invalid input, and it's going to come back here and it's going to check. Now with the assertion error, because the way that this assert is used with the condition here, we are expecting an assertion error, so we're going to handle that by using another except, and we wanted to print out assertion error occurs, and it's going to move on to the next part of the program. So that way the program doesn't halt. So when we rerun this, we would test it with the age, and it prints out the age that we entered, and it showed us that the assertion error occurs. It didn't stop the program there. So I purposely used this condition to cause it to have the assertion error, so you can see how that would work. And what we want to do is we want to catch that error and be able to do something with that to show that it happened, and then we can move on. So you can implement exception handling using try and except, and in this case we're using try, assert, and except. And this concludes my Lab 4 Exercise 1 for CIS30A.